instead of just knocking the ball down. You got to make something happen as a defense.
3rd and 4. James Joseph out of the backfield. Joseph has the first down. Actually, James Joseph lined up on a wing. He was their leading runner 2 years ago, with over 400 yards his rookie year, and then last year kind of plagued by injuries. Never even had a rushing attempt last year, but look for him, they say, in '93 to take on more of the responsibilities of Keith Byers.
I think between him and Herschel Walker, I know the Eagles want to sell the idea that this guy's better than a Keith Byers and this does this better than a Keith Byers. At this point, he is not better than Keith Byers. Maybe a combination of he and Herschel to make up for that difference.
Oh, flea flicker time. Cunningham going long. Good coverage. Lorenzo Lynch stayed with Calvin Williams. Trying to put the game away with a flea flicker. Let's go to New York for an update. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Jim. In Pittsburgh, Steve Young of the 49ers has thrown his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. This one 5 yards to tight end Brent Jones. 24-13. 49ers in the lead over the Steelers. Back to the vet in Philadelphia, Jim and Randy.
Well, it's the 10th straight year the 49ers have opened on the road. 3 touchdown passes for Young today, 3 for Montana.
Oh, don't worry. That'll get a lot of play back in the Bay Area newspapers. They'll compare yardage. They'll compare sweats. They'll compare everything of these two guys all year long.
2nd and 10. Batted down. I think Eric Swan got a hand on it. By the way, one of Montana's scores went to Marcus Allen. It'll be 3rd down for Philadelphia. The incompletion stops the clock, just under 8 minutes to go.
And that was a nice play by Eric Swan. I mean, we've seen numerous times, a couple times with Tim Harris and with a few other guys. You don't have to be on top of the quarterback necessarily to be a good defensive lineman. You can knock that ball down from 3, 4, 5 yards away. And what Philadelphia needs is for Eric Swan to break loose, fulfill some of that potential, and maybe cause a turnover. Strip Randall.
You can certainly use one now. 3rd and 10 for the Eagles. They run it with Hebron. And although he gains about 6, that's shy of the first. Oldham and Braxton collide on the hit. So the Cardinals need 2 touchdowns. They have half of this final quarter remaining. John Hudson snaps to Feagles. Catch by Bailey. He fumbles it. And the Eagles have it inside of the 20. Eric McMillan with the recovery.
Well, you remember, Jim, a little while ago we talked about at a certain point you find a way to make the plays or you find a way not to. You overthrow a touchdown, you put a ball on the ground, a punt hits you off the chest. These kind of plays are the kind of plays a team that's going to lose and will make.
Something about Eric McMillan. He's always had a nose for the football. Much maligned player, but big interceptions, now a fumble recovery. It's happened throughout his career. Heath Sherman for only 3.
Well, that last flea flicker on the last series is about the last time you're going to see any fancy stuff out of this offense. I think for the last 7 minutes of this game right now, Randall Cunningham and Rich Kotite and Zeke Bratkowski are going to practice their pounded out end of the game offense and try to keep the mistakes to a minimum. Kotite's an interesting story. He takes a lot of heat here in Philadelphia. He says, hey, all I did last year was win 12 games in a playoff game, including. Please.
Sherman stacked up after a 1-yard game. Kotite coached Philadelphia to that first playoff win since the NFC title game back in January of 1981. It's one won 22 games in 2 years, more than any coach in Philadelphia history for 2 years.
I mean, they were the only team last year in the NFL that was undefeated at home in the regular season. They went 8-0, won every game. Was that enough? Well, no, not really. They've expected a Super Bowl team here for a long time. Not always sure if it was a realistic expectation. They've never always had the same things at the right time. When they have a great defense, the offense is pretty good. When they have a real good offense, their defense is all right.
3rd and 5. Cunningham. Oh, Jones was about to get him, then he got picked off, and it's thrown away. I thought I saw a sack coming up, and then a great block.
Nice job by Mike Shad. Mike Jones thought he had him. I mean, he'd already put that stat in the bank. He put that sack in the bag. And Shad put his helmet right in his face and put him on his back. And that's the kind of attitude Randall Cunningham credits a lot to Broderick Thompson. He says Broderick Thompson came from San Diego, and he'll do that to guys. He says, now suddenly I see Anton Davis doing it, Eric Floyd doing it. Shad's always been that kind of guy.
This is a 32-yard field goal try by RUZEK to make the difference 16 if he makes. No. RUZEK has struggled, had a very mediocre preseason. And earlier this week, they brought in Eddie Murray just to take a look at him.
RUZEK struggled, but there's nothing struggling about Joe Bugle. He knows his team's still in it, and he's saying, come on, guys, let's go.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the National Football League is prohibited. Clyde Simmons lining up at right defensive end position. And Simmons makes the tackle. There is a flag on the field.
They're gonna catch a holding on that one. I think they're gonna get Louise Sharp for holding on Clyde Simmons at the very end of that play, right around the legs.
Holding, number 37, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Oh gosh, I guess Larry Centers must have grown. I thought he was Louise Sharp. Right at the very end here, watch Centers. He struggles, he struggles, he struggles. He's doing okay, but now he's trying to make something happen, and he grabs that jersey to try to keep Simmons from getting away.
Simmons and Harris, you can almost sense the excitement they feel as they know they can now look for some sacks. Ricky Prohl out to the 17. Hurry up to the line of scrimmage with 5:10 remaining. 23-10 Philadelphia. 2nd down and 13. Chandler to Clark. He dropped it again. 4th time today.
No more excuses from me. He should have caught that one. I mean, at least that one, maybe the one before. I mean, he can drop one once in a while, but that's just concentration. That's not concentration as much as thinking about what you're going to do with it next before you got it.
5:01 remaining. 3rd down and 13. That would have easily been enough for a first. Chandler flings it long to Clark. No flag. Incomplete. Mark McMillan knocked it away, and Chandler was hurt at the end of this play.
He got piled into right at the end of the play into his legs. Remember, he came into this game having missed a good bit of the last 3 weeks because of an ankle injury. You can see the spat job there on his ankle, very heavily taped up. Watch the very end. Is Andy Harmon right?
Oh boy.
There, yeah, that's
Oh boy.
That's got some ankle potential. Now, if you're a Cardinal fan, you think, well, why wasn't this pass interference? Watch the heads of the defenders. They are playing the ball. They have every bit as much a right as that offensive guy does when that ball's in the air. That's incidental contact. They're looking back.